Hello and welcome back to the United Devils YouTube channel. I will be giving my live match reaction, player ratings, and hopefully a Q&A from United's 1-0 win against Copenhagen today. Of course, I was watching and commentating on the game, and it was honestly it was quite a tough game for both sides. I think maybe the sweltering heat in Cologne was certainly a contributing factor. I think the fact is that United did chop and change from the side that did play against Lask last week, and that was again another important factor for fitness. I think the team that played was a strong side. Of course, I think that there were a couple changes to the normal starting 11 that were a bit questionable. I think Fred coming in was an interesting decision, but overall a rather disappointing one, because you would have rather seen Matic come in and solidify that midfield and make that kind of just much more compact and solid. And Fred really wasn't trusted. He gave away passes throughout the game, and that gave Copenhagen chances. What I will say is that it was just a really bad performance. Not really much that can be said about it. It was just poor. United in the end did create a few chances, but were either chalked off for offside, and then they hit the post, or in the end, as the game progressed, I mean, they started to cause problems and trouble Jonsson, but he matched it, and he did well with it. So that's really the just sort of overall gist. Let's sort of get into the details. So the first half was poor. It reminded me of the last game, even though the quality in the team was far better. I think Greenwood had that chance late in the game, and that was a big one, but he was offside for it, and it was a great finish from him, but irrelevant. Copenhagen had a few good chances. Williams had to make a good clearance, and I think Bailly had to make a couple good blocks to stop them from scoring. But I think they still didn't they didn't get a shot on target in that game, and that was very important. To be fair, that United did actually not manage to make them create clear-cut efforts on goal, and Romero was barely tested in the game. But first half was sluggish and really just not good enough, and I think Solskjaer was trying to tell his players to up the tempo, up the pressing, up the attacking intent. And in the second part of the first half, because obviously there was the drinks break, it was better, but still not good enough. And then we go on to the second half, where United started to get into the swing of things. Copenhagen still had chances. Wan Bissaka had a brilliant block against, I want to say Falk, but I might be mistaken. It could have been Oviedo when he came on, but it was still a big chance for Copenhagen. And United obviously had a few chances when they hit the post, and with Fernandes and Greenwood's efforts, which were both brilliant efforts, I have to say. And then Martial with a really great curling effort, tipped over by Jonsson, who had a fantastic game. It went to extra time, obviously, and that was probably the worst case scenario. But in the end, 5 minutes in, United bringing on Juan Mata, I think that was a good choice. I think maybe for Greenwood was a bit harsh, but in the end it paid off, because Rashford fed Martial through after an initial good bit of play between Mata and Martial. Martial through again, was bundled over by Bjelland, and it was a penalty. It was pretty clear cut, and not clear and obvious, even if you thought it wasn't clear cut, to overturn it. 21st penalty of the season, and who else but Bruno Fernandes to convert it to make it 1-0. United huffed and puffed, had a lot of chances in that first 15 minutes. Jonsson again was fantastic, but Mata, Martial, Rashford, mostly Martial and Mata really were on point for United. Pogba was fantastic. I think all game controlled the play and started to play more through balls as the game sort of progressed. second half of extra time was a little bit more disappointing because I think United were just trying to hold on, and it was sort of allowing Copenhagen to have chances, and the likes of the wingers like Oviedo and of course the Kaufman up front were really quite dynamic, and Rasmus Falk, while he was on, was exceptional really in the second half and teamed up well with Varela. In the end, it was deserved, the win, but it was certainly made far more difficult by United's lack of quality in the final third and a bit of bad luck when it came to the efforts that hit the post. I think United hit the post 4 times in the game overall. That's really it. I mean, I'm really quite disappointed overall with the performance. It was a hard fought win. I think United deserved it in the end, just with the quality they had, outclassing Copenhagen. But that's really it from that. Player ratings. So we'll start obviously with the goalkeeper, Sergio Romero. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Distribution was fine. Nothing really warranted. I think he 6.5. Clean sheet, good for him, but really kind of untested. Right back Wan-Bissaka, 7.5, because his attacking play was pretty tragic. Something that he has needed to work on, and this was a bad example of how he's improved even a little bit, because today only one real cross was good enough, and I think even when it was a good cross, it was the wrong cross because the cutback was the better option. So then we'll move on to Eric Bailly, who obviously came off for Victor Lindelof in the second half. And that would be probably a 8, because I thought he was very good. I thought he was really solid, compact, really smart on the ball, and aware of all the danger around him. He slipped once or slid in once when he really shouldn't have, but that is his reckless nature in that sense. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, and I'll say he gets an 8. Maguire gets an 8.5 as well. I thought he was fantastic. I've seen people questioning his presence as a captain, or saying he ghosted through the game. I don't think that's true. I think the fact is he didn't put a foot wrong. His distribution was on point, and he was important in winning the aerial battles, especially in the set pieces when Copenhagen had a lot of corners from both sides. We'll go on to Brandon Williams, who I thought was fantastic as well. I think he'll get an 8.5 as well. I thought he was really strong defensively. In attack, he was all right, but not bad. But he had a lot to deal with because Rashford wasn't covering with the overlap, and he had to deal with both Varela and the right winger that was swapped really between the two that started, being of course Beale and Falk, but that's really it. He did very well, 8.5. Fred gets a 5 for me because I just thought he was really sloppy. Not the same as Matic. Maybe I'm holding him to too higher standards, but he just wasn't good enough. He wasn't strong enough and competent enough to distribute the ball. And overall, really, I just thought he shouldn't really have started. Throughout, before I continue with Pogba's rating, if you have any questions or topics you'd like for me to discuss, please comment on the live chat, and I'll answer them throughout this reaction. Then we'll move on to Paul Pogba, who I think gets a 7.5. I thought he was really good in distributing the ball and playing forwards and trying to get the ball moving forwards. I think he played a little further up when Matic came on because I don't think he trusted Fred really, and that was really clear throughout the game. I think it was better when Matic come on. Obviously, he's got far more quality defensively, and that's really all I can say. He did well, and I think he should have probably had another penalty, but I don't know why that was waved off. Fernandes, again, he was trying stuff. He gave the ball away a lot, but he was at least trying stuff. A difficult decision, but I'm going to say a 7.5 because he was actually creating a few chances. He hit the post really unfortunately, and I think his link-up play was good and much better when Mata came on. Greenwood gets a 7, I would say, if I'm being hesitant, because he had 2 good chances. One was offside, it was a brilliant finish. The second one, unlucky again, a rocket, and then he came off to make way for Juan Mata, and I think that was again the right decision, but That's all I can say for him. Rashford gets a 5 as well. Even though his passing was good at points, his overall play was just really poor. He looks tired. He looks indecisive, and he kind of looks like he's not really willing to take on players as often as we definitely saw from September to January really of 2019. So he needs to improve on that. He needs to get back to his dynamic self, because I think just doing his passing wasn't really enough for him. And Martial clearly outshone him, who I'll go on to now, and gets another 8.5 for me. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was really, really smart with his play. At times he was pretty much non-existent in the first half, but in the second half he started to influence the game. He had a couple good chances, some really, really quick feet and good runs, and almost scored a couple times, if not for Johnson, who was fantastic. And he gets an 8.5. He won the penalty, of course, and that was the crucial moment. Substitutions. The first one was Nemanja Matic, which was a 6 or a 7 actually. I'll give him a 7 because I thought he was really solid and compact and composed on the ball, and gave Pogba and Bruno the confidence to go a bit further forward. So 7 for Matic. I think he'll start in the semi-final. Lindelof came on and again was strong and solid and really smart on the ball. 7.5 because he obviously didn't play that much. But a good performance from him. I thought he might be a bit nervy when coming on, but overall did really well. Then we go to Juan Mata, who gets 7 as well. I thought he was really smart when he came on. He was obviously crucial in the build-up to the goal, and obviously had another few chances and created a few chances to for the players to score, and didn't quite work out in the end. But that's just how these are. Then Lingard came on and McTominay came on, but again, they just didn't really have enough time to show what they can offer. Lingard obviously with a press and a run forward, but that's not enough to judge him on, so not applicable for either of them. Manager for me gets, I want to say 6, because I mean that's just how you set up. It was a low block. They knew they were going to be low block. They knew they were going to be high pressing, because he knows Solbakken, and he knows how he was going to set up his team, how he was going to play, and it didn't really work. I could see maybe the players were tired. I questioned the Fred decision. The Bailly decision worked out fine, but the Fred decision was probably a bad one, because I think he gave Copenhagen chances to get into the game, and Matic probably wouldn't have done that. But I'm not sure what more he could have done when the players were being that sloppy. I think he told them to be quicker on the ball, be faster, be pressing higher, and so you've got to give him credit for doing that. But 6 for him, because I mean, what else do you expect really? You should be coming away with a win. It's just a shame it took that long. Referee was a bit all over the place, but got the decision right in the end. I think probably 6 as well, because I think it evened itself out over the game. Like, there were a couple yellow cards that shouldn't have been yellow cards, but the penalty was right, and I think there were a couple decisions where some may have claimed that Lindelof hit the ball up on his arm, and I think that handball rule was stupid, and I think he decided that one well. But overall, that is it. No questions, as it seems, so that is it for now. Thank you for those who listened. If you have any questions or topics you would like for us to discuss on our next videos, then please comment below. And if you enjoyed this, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Twitter for more of our content.